Hello again, and welcome to Meet the Team series of podcasts from Provenance Compliance. My name is Kamil Jaworski, and I'm the head of growth for Provenance Compliance. Today, we have another special episode as you are going to listen to Ruan Botha, the co founder of Provenance. Ruan, thank you very much for joining me here. Tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Camille. I'm a ex-lawyer turned crypto fanatic and compliance expert. My journey started off in the legal sphere, after which I transitioned into tax around 2018. That's also where I got my first professional exposure to digital assets, where I advised clients on the disposal of their Bitcoin and how that will be taxed. Shortly after, they did a bit of work with one of my other co-founders, Pietri Besson, who introduced me to Cara Hennessy, and they were working on one of the first tokenized funds together, where we then actually saw a big gap in the market from a compliance perspective, and that's how we started Providence.
It's a very interesting journey you went through from being a lawyer to crypto enthusiast or fanatic, as you said. So, can you walk us through the problem you set out to solve?
A lot of the traditional fund administrators and lawyers were a bit scared to advise from a compliance perspective on digital assets and acting as compliance officers. And that's where Cara, myself, and Pietri saw the gap and start delivering compliance services for virtual asset service providers across the globe. As the business matured, more gaps emerged from a compliance perspective. And due to the fast paced nature of digital assets, we couldn't rely on traditional methods of KYC and KYB screening. We developed, process flows and eKYC processes. Then we built out on-chain analytics departments and also audit departments.
It's always fascinating to see how solving one gap often reveals the others. Tell us from your perspective, who are your ideal clients?
We want to work with clients that are willing to safeguard the ecosystem, protect their own projects, and also protect their users of their projects. We always look from a regulatory risk, compliance risk, and from a reputational risk. How can we safeguard ourselves and the ecosystem as a whole? For us, these clients are worth working with and worth building a product with.
Yeah, that's a very nice framing. Working with those who want to build responsibly. Let's talk about some of the roadblocks along the way. What have been the biggest challenges and how did you overcome them?
Looking at the industry as a whole, the biggest fallout has been FTX. And when that bull run collapsed into a full bear market, we had a bit of worrisome times. We thought from a compliance perspective, not a lot of projects are going to launch. So they're not actually going to need compliance services. However, we built the narrative and the industry adopted that narrative from a safeguarding perspective. They must have policies and procedures. They need to know who their customers are. Look at from an unregulated perspective, if there's a multi-sig, who is signing the transactions? We need to do KYC on the council members. As confidence started to grow again, that was one of the biggest challenges that we overcame.
That's a powerful pivot. So you turned uncertainty into growth by reframing compliance as an enabler rather than a blocker. Let's now shift gears and talk about the people behind the success. What qualities do you look for when you grow the business?
We focus on human resources and human skills. We are not a SaaS company, and we are only as strong as our team is. And that is why we pride ourselves in our team as a whole. Um, Sharp top talent that's curious and also wants to adopt and move as fast as the industry moves. We hire a lot on personality and ethic. From our value perspective, support, integrity, trust, and resilience really needs to shine through all of these individuals because that is what we want to deliver to our clients as well. We work with complex legal and technology systems, so you need to know how to communicate internally and externally with our clients. And if there's any red flags, you need to raise that in a timely and adequate fashion.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, especially in this space where agility and clear communication, that's the most important things. Speaking of the future, let's zoom out for a moment. And how do you see the industry changing in the next 3 to 5 years?
I definitely see the industry maturing. I think about in 2023, the tagline was the institutions are here. We are definitely seeing them a lot more. But now being in 2025 and the stablecoin adoption that's coming and the Genius Act that's been signed into law, there's a big maturity, a lot of jurisdictions that now have enacted laws. If you look from a um, holistic view, how these laws are talking to each other. One good example is with the travel rule. There's some cohesion to a point, but there's still different thresholds within each jurisdiction. The thresholds sending crypto back and forth still doesn't communicate holistically with one another. Same thing if you look at MICRA from a European perspective, it's a great idea. The execution hasn't been there, but there's a lot of potential within the next 5 years. That is the action points that we need to look at. If you look at Africa as a whole, passporting is also being discussed. If you can have a license in South Africa and you can service clients in Nigeria, there needs to be a bit of cohesion because it will save you costs from operational perspective.
I agree with all the points. Regulation may still be patchy, but momentum is clearly shifting towards maturity. And in terms of the maturity, I recall after Digital Asset Summit in New York, somebody made a summary that the crypto bros came in suits and the suits came in hoodies. We can definitely see maturity and we can see that the institutional investors are finally very interested in crypto. So now, before we wrap up, let's lighten things up a bit. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. So what's a surprising hobby or a habit or maybe a daily ritual you can share?
Food is a passion of mine. I love preparing food. When I do have time, I really enjoy smoking meat. I've got 3 meat smokers, and I do anything from pork belly to brisket to ribs, and lamb shoulders.
So I bet everybody will definitely think of compliance now every time they see a brisket. So that was the last question I've had for you today. Thank you so much, Ruan.
Thank you so much for having me, Camille.
That's great. And for the audience, thank you so much for watching. And if you have a moment, have a look at our website at www.provenancecompliance.com, or you can send me or Ruan an email. And if you have another minute, watch our promo video. I'm going to play it in a second. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
What's the one thing standing between your crypto innovation and the global market? Compliance. Provenance Compliance bridges the gap between crypto and compliance so you can scale confidently. We redefine compliance for the digital age. Your challenges simplified. Staying ahead of ever-evolving regulations, managing risk while building trust in a decentralized world, reduce operational expenses. Regulations change, risks evolve. You need a partner who stays ahead so you can focus on what matters most. Innovation. Provenance, your first, second, and third line of defense for VASPs, crypto funds, tokenized issuances, DAOs, and more. If it's blockchain-based, we are your team. On-chain analytics-powered state-of-the-art solutions with no licensing costs. Cryptocurrency security standard expertise to safeguard your assets. KYC, KYB managed services, AML officers, consulting, investigations, and internal audits. Proven expertise you can trust. Trusted by over 300 clients in 20+ jurisdictions, we go beyond the usual. Access cutting-edge tools for a fraction of the cost. Scale confidently. You innovate, we ensure compliance. Together, we redefine what's possible. Get started today. Let us bridge your journey to success.